Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Laggis Farm Virtual Chat. I am Brittany with Discover Dairy, and today is going to be so much fun. We've got Farmer Marissa on standby. I can see all these amazing questions rolling in on the chat, which thank you so much for doing that and checking in. And we've got two of the cutest calves on the planet, Marigold and Sunflower, ready for their close up with you. This event is part of the Adopt a Cow program, where more than 48,000 classes and 2.1 million students joined the fund for free, thanks to our incredible supporters at the Dairy Alliance, at the New England Dairy and the Dairy Excellence Foundation. And I know many of you are super excited for next year. So go ahead and mark those calendars for May 1st when we open enrollment again for the 26-27 school year. You can go to discoverdairy.com/adopt, and there you can go ahead and get enrolled. Again, mark your calendars, May 1st. And because this is live, we want to hear from you. Go ahead and drop your questions. Tell us where you're watching from, and let's see if we can get that chat energy going really good today. Speaking of that chat, let's see who's tuning in. So we'll find who was ever the first folks to join us today. Oh, we actually had some people really excited to join us and shared some questions already. So thank you so much for hopping on. We'll make sure to get to some of those if we can. Thank you so much and welcome. We've got Miss Roy here, who's also dropping in some questions already. You guys were on top of it today. So hello and welcome all with Miss Roy's students. We have Mrs. King's kindergartners from VCA in Mendon. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining. We'll make sure to get to your questions too. Let's see. We've got Mrs. Josie's and Mr. Lily's classes from Gardner, Massachusetts. Hello and welcome. We're so excited to have you all today too. Let's go down a little bit further. We have Mrs. Reinhold's class in Greenfield. Hello and welcome. We have Pleasant View Elementary School in Rhode Island. We're so excited that you're able to join us today. Thank you for coming. And let's do one or two more. We've got some folks who are joining us from Cape Cod. Hello and welcome. And how about we'll scroll down here further. We've got some first graders from Brickett Elementary in Massachusetts. Hello, welcome first graders. We're so excited to have you and everybody else who are here to see their calves and of course excited to chat with Farmer Marissa. Speaking of Farmer Marissa, we are getting ready to introduce her. Hey Farmer Marissa, how are you doing today?
Hi, Brittany. Thanks so much. I'm great, and I'm so excited that all the students are tuning in to finally meet their calves.
Woohoo, yeah,
Um,
it's super
yeah,
exciting. So thank you for making time today to let us kind of, take this step on your farm and get to meet your girls. I'd love to kick it off by go ahead and just introduce who you are, your role on the farm, and a little bit about Laggis Farm.
sure. So, my husband and I are partners with his parents, John and Johanna. So, Dan and I and John and Johanna are owner operators. We milk 500 jerseys, and at one time, John and his brother were only milking 50 jerseys in this very barn, which is now our heifer barn. So it was a tie stall. They
Wow.
started farming at just 15 and 17 years old. And over time, it's grown, and now we're milking 500 jerseys in the barn across the road. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's a full
15
circle
and
moment
17
here.
years old. That's like, I'm sure we have some high school students on our call today with
Yes.
us. So can you imagine starting your own business and milking your own cows and doing your own thing when you're 15 and 17? That's pretty impressive. What a history for Laggis Farm for sure.
Definitely.
Awesome. So, former Marissa, tell us a little bit about what is your specific role on the farm? What does your day to day look like?
Sure. So currently, I'm doing more of the financial side on the farm. So I do books and I'm diversifying the farm. At one time, I was doing more hands-on cow work. I was doing calf chores, um, but I guess it's more of a administrative side now. But I like to be in the barn as much as possible still.
Nice. Yes, and of course, I would say probably getting to see and hang out with our adopted calves a little more often probably
Yes.
has gotten you out quite a bit this year.
Yes,
So,
it was a great opportunity to be in the
yeah,
barn.
so speaking of those calves, how are they doing? Can you remind us who is who? Kind of let's focus on one. We'll give an update. How big is she? What's she up to? That kind of thing, and then we'll jump to the other one.
Sure. So this dark calf is Sunflower. Oh, she's not sure if she wants to get up or not. Sunflower is 7.5 months old. She is currently 40.5 inches and weighing 340 pounds. Sunflower is my more shy heifer, so she may or may not say hi. She's a lot less shy than she was at one time. So she's getting to be a little more camera friendly. Now, on
Oh.
the other hand, we have Marigold. And Marigold, there's nothing shy about her.
Oh.
So she just turned 7 months yesterday. So it's kind of her birthday.
Aw,
And
awesome.
yeah, she's 39 inches now and 325 pounds. She's definitely the
Wow.
smaller of the two.
Oh my gosh. I cannot believe they're over 300 pounds already. I know, like, when we started following them, right, at birth, we have that Sunflower was only 50 pounds and Marigold was
Yes.
45 pounds. I can't believe, is this, is that normal to us, I think, as humans? That sounds so, like, so much weight in such a short amount of time. Is that like a normal growth for cows?
Yeah, I mean, they grow a ton in the first 2 years of their lives. So,
Okay.
and Jerseys are especially small when they're born. Sometimes we get some really teeny tiny peanut calves. But yeah, they will
Hmm.
end up probably being 800 pounds in a year
Wow.
and a half or so. So yeah,
Oh my
they grow
goodness.
fast.
That is incredible. So right now at this stage of life for them, right? So they're about 7 months old, and what are they eating? Where are they living typically?
Sure.
That kind of thing.
So they started out in a calf barn where they were in individual pens, and then after a couple weeks, they have a divider pulled and they get a buddy. So they have a buddy. Jerseys play with everything, so that's what you're gonna see here, playing with everything in the pen. So they have a divider pulled and they get a buddy, and then they move on to a small group pen in the calf barn, and then they move into this barn, and they started at the very first pen at the end of this barn, and they have moved down, and this is the final pen of the heifer barn. Their
Okay.
next step is moving into the barn directly next to us, and that's I would call it like the teenager barn. So there's a lot
Hmm.
of changes that go on there, and eventually they'll go out to pasture, and be pregnant, and then join the milking herd. So in this barn, they're eating haylage. Here, I'm work my
Got to
way around
play
them.
do-si-do with your calves.
Yeah. So they're eating haylage, which is chopped up fermented grass.
Oh, oh, they look curious.
Yeah, we have a treat. And they're getting a grower pellet. So this is a
Uh-huh.
pelleted grain that's formulated specifically for their stage of life. It has all the good stuff they need to keep growing and mature into
Awesome.
nice cows.
Yeah, clearly they could, if they think
Yeah,
they could
I
use
better
an
put this
extra little
down.
snack right now.
Yep.
Oh
I
my gosh.
thought I'd take this minute to
Yeah.
kind of show something fun that we use on our farm. So when they were in the calf barns for some of the winter, and the smallest calves, we have to work a little harder to keep them warm, especially here in northern Vermont where it gets
Hmm.
very cold. So my mother-in-law Johanna knit these, or sorry, crocheted these little ear warmers
Oh
for
my
the littlest
gosh.
calves, and also every calf gets a handmade blanket. So
Oh
these
my
this is our
gosh.
cute little John Deere blanket. So
That is
they're made
adorable.
of, yeah, upcycled blankets and whatnot. So
How
kind of fun.
fun. It makes everything super personal. It's kind of hard to believe that they were small enough at one point
I
to fit
know.
in that calf
That's right.
blanket just a few months ago.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
oh yeah,
Gonna
she's
eat.
gonna, she thinks that's for her now. Oh my
Yep.
gosh. How cool. So you guys have probably one for each one or whenever you've got babies at that point.
Yes,
How many
exactly.
how many babies do you usually have at a time? Maybe in a day or a week or, a month, but anything like that?
Yeah, we probably average about one calf a day. So,
Okay.
we have, I believe, about 50 calves in the calf barn at one time before they
Wow.
are weaned and then move up here.
Okay. Wow,
Yeah.
that's a lot of babies to take care of. So are there specific people on the farm who have specific roles? Like, is there one person that feeds the babies, one person that milks the cows? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so Johanna manages the calf barn, and then we have an incredible calf barn employee who just takes care of our animals like they're her own. So we're very
Awesome.
fortunate to have that. We have dedicated milkers who are on a employees are on a rotated schedule to milk. We milk 3 times a day. So um, we have
Yeah.
folks that step in just for cropping. You know, Dan and John each have their role on the farm. So yes, everybody on
Cool.
our farm, we're small enough, everybody can do a little bit of everything,
Cool.
but everybody has their strong points and things they like to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah,
Yep,
absolutely. Cool. It's always a team effort, right? I
definitely.
love that. So we have two jerseys, right? You have a whole Jersey herd who are very curious, and as you said, like right, likes to play with everything. So we had a question from Mrs. King's kindergarten class there at BCA in Mendon. They were curious, how do they play? Do they have toys they play with? What does it look like when they're having fun or anything like that?
Sure. So jerseys will turn anything into a toy. They don't even have to have dedicated toys. Um, so one thing they do that's kind of a well-known Jersey thing is tongue rolling. So they play with their tongues in the air.
Hmm.
They will play with each other and just kind of butt each other around, especially in the heifer barns. And if they can find a chain that's loose or a gate, they will absolutely just knock their heads
They'll
against it,
find it.
bang it, lick it, do it,
Yeah.
whatever. So maybe open it and get loose. You never
Right?
know.
Little escape artists over there, those little
Exactly.
jerseys, they can sneak through everything.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. Then the other part of their question was they were curious, do they like being in the sun? Like, do they, we all like going to the beach, getting some sun. Like, do you notice like temperament differences or anything like that with weather and warmth and cold and that kind of thing?
Yeah, there's a balance. So cows are most comfortable at kind of a mild temperature. They don't like being super hot. Sure, they like to be on pasture on a nice day, but you can definitely tell if it's too hot out. They prefer to be in the shade or in the barn with our giant fans. But when the sun is shining in the barn after the long winter,
Hmm.
they're definitely
Oh, yeah.
happy.
They're
Yes.
excited. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. No, that makes sense. Let's see. I know we were talking about this before we went live, so I knew we had an answer for this. Pleasant View Elementary School was curious if you had any other animals on the farm.
Oh, yes. We definitely have some other animals. So they're baby chickens walking around in the background or in front of the camera. We have a lot of chickens just roaming. We also have a pet goat. He lives in the calf barn. So he just
Oh,
hangs out loose in the calf barn. He never leaves. He could if he wanted, but he never does. So he's kind of our calf barn mascot, and all the calves get to know him. And he sleeps in the hay manger, and the calves lick him, and it's lots of fun.
oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I love that. So it's a little bit of a funny farm plus amazing
Definitely.
cute cows. I love it. Very cool. No, so we mentioned it earlier, right? These are all jerseys. We were curious, do you only have jerseys? This was a question. Like how many breeds of cows are on your farm? And maybe you could just touch on what the different breeds are.
Yes, so we only milk jerseys.
Okay.
The only dairy cows we have are jerseys. We Not a lot of farms milk only jerseys. We really like them. They're small, they're easy to handle, they have very big personalities. We really like them for their higher production of components, which is butter, fat, and protein. But we also do have some limousine Jersey crosses and Angus Jersey crosses. So Angus and limousines are both beef breeds.
Hmm.
So we breed some of our jerseys and raise those animals as beef. Yep.
Very cool. Very cool. I love that. Sorry, I was laughing because I'm kind of chuckling at the next question. I just happened to be reading it as you were responding. They were curious because our wonderful jerseys are very curious if you've ever had a cow get lost or kind of wander away or anything like that.
Yes. Not fully lost, but they show up in some really funny places. And we sell sweet corn in the summer. And we've had some great pictures being sent to us by customers of cows taking sweet corns, ears of corn off of the table while they're trying to
Oh,
buy corn because they've escaped and they can't help themselves. So,
oh my
yeah.
God. Oh, that's too cute.
Yeah,
Darn jerseys, but they are curious. But now I will say, right, and I know you can attest to this too. Even though they get curious and they want to escape because they just think they can, they know where they're safe. They know where their food is.
absolutely.
They know, so they always end up coming back because they
They
know where this protection is.
Exactly. They never go very far. They want to be close to the barn. Even if if one of them gets loose, you're just going to find her sitting in the manger the next day waiting to get
Right.
put back in her pen. So, yeah, they're never far.
Oh my. We have a curious question. We are wondering, what is your biggest cow? And maybe we could part two on that. Who is your oldest cow? Do you happen to know any of those things on the farm?
Sure. I couldn't tell you exactly who our biggest cow is. Jerseys are, as I said, smaller than Holstein. So
Mhm.
our biggest Jersey is a lot smaller than the biggest Holstein on somebody's
Sure.
farm. Our cows probably range from 800 to 1,000 pounds, and Holsteins are significantly larger than that. Our oldest cow is 10 years old. Let's see, I do have her number written down. She's 2746. So as probably a lot of
Wow.
students have noticed, the cows get a number, and the higher the
Yeah.
number, the younger the calf is. So these cows are in the 45, or these heifers are in the 4500s, and the oldest cow is a 2700. So she's
Oh
been
my
around a
goodness.
while. She's at least 10 years old.
Wow,
Yep.
10 years old. That is incredible. And I know I've been told, right, about one cow year is about 10 human years. So you've got like a 100-year-old cow on your farm. That's
Yeah, I
impressive.
would say that's pretty accurate. I have to guess
Yeah,
that that's pretty accurate.
yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. Let's see. This one's specifically about marigold, but it can be about both of them. They were curious, what is their favorite food? I know we talked about what they eat, but what do you think they like gravitate towards the most?
I would say they go for the haylage, or if you put down some dry hay, they go for
Hmm.
that more than anything. Like they have free choice pellets and haylage, but they were very tempted by the haylage when I brought it in here.
Right? Yeah, they immediately like got up and sniffed and was
Yes.
like, what's Farmer
That's what
Marissa
you
have for
they
us?"
they could be eating it over there, honestly, but it's more interesting in a bucket.
Of course. They're curious, right? Comes
Yeah,
down to that
exactly.
curiosity again. We had a question. We talked about after they leave this pen, right? They're going to go to a pasture, and then eventually they'll be bred, which bred means to be pregnant. And then, so how many pregnant cows do you have on the farm
Yes, so
at a
there's
time?
roughly 50 dry cows, I would say. So
Okay.
we have 500 milking cows, 450 to 460 of them are in milk right now, and the remainder are dry, which means that they are pregnant but not milking because they get a break for 2 months um, before they have their next calf, where they're not milking, so they can put all their energy into growing their calf. And then there are also a lot of pregnant heifers, which means they haven't had calves yet. Um, so I'm not sure
Gotcha.
exactly how many there are, but mature
Sure.
cows, there's 50.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. This is an interesting question, and hopefully we can help make this connection. So the question is, how much milk do you sell each year? And maybe we can just
Ooh,
clarify, maybe uh, that how that process is happening from you to the grocery store, right? It's not like you're sending it
sure.
right to the grocery store. So yeah.
Sure, I should have calculated that number or looked at it before we started, but maybe this is a fun math project for the
Yeah.
students. So our jerseys make about 60 pounds of milk a day.
Okay.
And we milk about 500 cows. So if
Wow.
you can do that math and can figure out how much we ship in a year. Um,
Yeah.
so, so that process, we're milking. Obviously, on our farm, it's cool. The milk is cooled down because it comes out at body temperature. It's cooled down, stored in a bulk tank, and twice a day we have milk trucks picking up our milk,
Okay.
and they're bringing it to various milk processing plants. So it could be somebody like Ben and Jerry's who is going to turn it into ice cream. It could be used for fluid milk. It could be used for cheese. Cabot is only 20 minutes from here. So yeah, there's a lot of different products probably being made with our milk.
Hmm. You said cabbage, cheese, and Ben and Jerry's. Two of my weaknesses right there. That is some delicious stuff.
Yeah, Vermont has some good dairy products.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, Interesting. This question's curious. We could talk about that. So the question is, does Marigold make any funny noises? I guess do you often hear cows mooing, or what's the normal noises that a cow would make?
Yeah, I think most people would be really shocked to walk onto a farm and notice that there are no cows mooing. Usually, as long as cows are content and they're fed, they don't really make a lot of noise.
Hmm.
When it's getting close to feeding time or milking time, they might start, or just when we first came in here, like everybody was super excited. All the heifers were so excited, so they were moving a bit. But for the most part, it's really quiet. Funny noises, definitely, if they get excited, they do like this little moo grunt thing when they
Uh,
jump about, and yeah, so
yeah.
there's some funny noises.
Nice. Let's see, Miss Peg's preschool class, and actually, I've seen a number of other people asking it, so I wanted to make sure we touched on it. They were curious if Marigold or Sunflower have any brothers or sisters. Do you happen to know if their mamas were first-time calf moms or
Yes.
not?
So I believe Sunflower had one sibling, a bull, and Marigold's mom was the first calf heifer. So she is the first baby.
Very nice. All right. Awesome. Let's see. Let's see if we can get some more questions here. Oh, this is cute. So we can talk about, in general, friendships that are made, right? So their question was Marigold Sunflower's first buddy? Do they tend to buddy off? Do you see them, make friends or anything like that?
Yeah, so just because of our housing, they do tend to get a buddy because they have a buddy in housing almost from
Oh,
the
true.
get-go. Yeah,
Hmm.
so they do, and then they join this group pen with a few other of the buddies. So Marigold and Sunflower were not each other's buddies. They were born a few days apart, so they ended up being
Uh-huh.
with a different buddy, but they have gone through every pen together. So they could very
Hmm.
well be buddies, and all of the other calves that they were buddies with as teeny tiny babies are in this pen as well, and they'll go through
Gotcha.
life pretty much on the same
With
schedule with
them.
them.
Yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
Cool. Oh, this one's more towards you, Farmer Marissa. They were curious,
Okay.
do you have a favorite cow or animal on the farm?
Yes, I this will make some people happy and maybe some people sad, but my favorite cow is actually Marigold's mom. And it is,
Oh, her
yes.
mom.
Yeah, it's just because her markings are beautiful. Like she's a real
Oh,
standout. She's very flashy. She has some black in her coat with white spots. So I just think she's gorgeous.
oh, awesome. Well, hey, so all Marigold lovers are definitely loving that
Yeah,
shout
yeah, sorry,
out
because I
to
do love
Marigold.
Sunflower and her mom too, but
Too funny. This was a good question to talk about some ear tags. So they were curious, like humans, we've got earrings, we change our earrings out. Do you ever change their ear tags? Maybe just talk a little bit about why an ear tag is even important.
sure. So they have ear tags to have their number, their cow number on them. So, we have a lot of cows and they do get names when they're born, but the easiest way to identify them in the barn or to track information in our computer is by their number. So this number follows them for their whole life. We
Hmm.
hope we only have to put the ear tags in once. Sometimes they fall out just as earrings do. No big deal. We can replace them. They
Sure.
also, this is a little bit new on our farm, but they will get another ear tag as they enter the milking herd, which is a really cool monitoring system. So it
Hmm.
tells us their body temperature and their rumination activity,
Wow.
and tracks their activity. So that's something they'll get when they calve in.
That's awesome. That's a great way to keep track of all 500 animals to be
Yes.
able to know who is who. And I did just, I know someone had specifically asked, is it painful for an ear tag? But really, I mean, same as humans, right? It's just a quick click, like an earring, and then they never really notice
Exactly.
it.
Exactly. It's same as it is to us with an earring. And cows have very thick skin that's pretty rugged, so no, they don't get bothered by it too much.
Yeah. Clearly, they're stretching,
Yeah,
relaxing, and hanging
they're not
out.
too
Like,
unhappy.
yeah. Oh, we had an interesting observation. I can't, the one who's in the back right now. Is that some
Marigold's back
Marigold?
here.
They just happened to see it looked like she was tearing or something from her eye. Is she just sweating or we just wanted to make sure she was okay. We were just checking in on her.
Yeah, that's really nice. Thank you. She may have gotten poked by a piece of haylage or something, so they
Mm,
they will tear. She's not sad. It's more probably just a physical thing that she
sure.
got
Yeah.
poked. Yep.
Poked in eye or something. Okay, cool. Very cool. Yep.
Mhm.
We just wanted to make sure she was okay. Awesome. Let's see. Oh, good question from some fourth graders who love Marigold. They were curious, how many times a day are the cows fed?
Yeah, so heifers and most of the cows are fed once a day, but they get fed a lot at once. So they will have feed all through the day, through the night until the next morning when they get fed again. There are a few milking groups that get fed twice a day,
Awesome.
and
Very
the
cool.
babies get fed twice a day.
Awesome. So twice a day. And then, so as I get older, then when there's just lots of food, like, can they pretty much just graze all day long or like graze on their food? I guess they're getting a TMR, right?
Yeah.
So they can just kind of graze on their food all day long.
Exactly. They can eat at their will, drink at their will. Everything is free choice.
Awesome. Let's see. All right. We've got some more questions. Oh, so a little bit more about food in general. So we talked about the food that they do eat, but they were curious, do they eat apples or do they eat anything else? Like, can they eat anything else? Is that a thing? Or do we
I
really just stick to those grains and such?
For the most part, we stick to the grains. Once in a while, we might give them an apple off of the lawn or something, but just for safety reasons and everything, we like to stick to just their food that we work really hard to make for them.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Let's see. Oh, interesting. We've got a question here. We were wondering how much land is part of the farm and like how big are those pastures that they get to be on?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our farm is comprised of about 1,000 acres. Half of that is forest. So we manage our forests for habitat for animals, and we do some logging. And I didn't mention that we do maple sugaring.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and then the other half is either in pasture or cropped. We're growing corn or grass
Okay.
for haylage. And then we rent another 500 acres about for cropping.
Okay.
Yep.
Very cool. Awesome. Thank you. Let's see. Oh, we did get someone that was curious. They saw in the background that some cows have this like little yellow nose thing on their nose. Can you talk about what that is?
Yes, that's always a fun question. So that's called a weaning ring, and that means that that calf was a little bit naughty and was
How?
suckling on the other calves, and that's really dangerous for those calves as they calve in and start producing milk. It
Sure.
can cause problems with their udder. So we have to make sure that they don't do that. It just like clips in. It doesn't go through their nose or anything. It just pops in, and it blocks them from being able to get to another calf's udder or her little
Huh.
teats. Yep. So it's just protecting both animals.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Very cool. Thank you for explaining that. As I was looking down through, I realized I had a number of people asking about that, so it was good.
Yeah. Yep. Those are kind of fun.
Glad we could touch on that. Let's see. Oh, Miss Sloat's third grade class was curious about you specifically. They're curious, how long have you been part of the Adopt a Cow program?
This is my first year doing the Adopt a Cow program. So when you
Mhm.
guys received Marigold and Sunflower, I was starting out too.
Oh, everyone was a newbie this year.
Yeah.
We were curious, what was the first ever cow that you had?
Ooh, personally,
Hmm.
um, so I actually grew up training calves to be oxen. So my first was actually they were bull calves when I was very little. When I was very young, I started training bull calves to be oxen. So
Cool.
yeah, I didn't acquire girls until I entered onto the farm here.
Cool. Interesting. That's a
Yep.
very unique start
Yeah.
to the, I guess, the bovine world, right?
Yes.
Let's see. We were curious. So this one's specifically about marigold, but it can be for both. Do they ever get a bath or hosed down or anything like that? Do they get groomed? You know, we get haircuts and showers. Do cows do that?
Yep. So they get groomed if necessary. They're pretty good about keeping themselves clean. I mean, if one day you walk in and one is dirty, like she may be clean the next day, it kind of falls off of their coats. But like for today, I brushed up these girls, and especially in the calf barn, if we notice that they have a manure dried on them, it's really important to brush it off, or it can be irritating to the little baby's skin. So
Gotcha.
yeah, yep, they mostly clean themselves.
Yeah, they are much better than I would say our children in our life,
That's
right?
right.
Maybe not everyone likes to get a shower all the time, but these girls know how to do it from the moment they're born.
Yeah.
It's instinctual. Awesome. We were had some curiosity questions. We mentioned their mamas, so we were just curious, how are they doing, and have they had their baby yet? Like, what's that timeline look like?
Yeah, so their moms are both confirmed pregnant, so they're
Oh,
expecting new calves. Every cow is basically having a calf once a year. If everything goes right, she's having it right about the same time every year. So both of their mamas should be having calves around September of this coming year.
oh, yay! So that
Yeah.
means they'll have more siblings again on the
Yes, that's
farm.
right.
Very, very exciting. Awesome. You all are asking incredible questions. We didn't even get halfway through the chat. Thank you so much for just sharing so much enthusiasm for Marigold and Sunflower. It's been so much fun. We're going to start wrapping up here at Farmer Marissa, and a bunch of people were asking questions around this. So I just wanted to wrap us up with this. Right? So you've chose to be a dairy farmer. We're curious what's the why behind it, right? Like, what's your favorite thing about dairy farming, and why did you choose it as a career?
Yeah, I think the thing that I enjoy most about dairy farming is being part of the community in a kind of a larger sense. And that's the regional community. We're providing neighbors and people all over the Northeast with a really high quality product um,
Yeah.
when they eat ice cream or milk or whatever.
Hmm.
And then being part of just our local community, being a resource for access to land, access to being around animals when other people wouldn't really have that opportunity. Yeah, I just really like, and also not many people are farmers. Like there's very
Mm.
few people in the world feeding the entire world, and so to be part of that larger idea is my favorite part.
Yeah. Well, how rewarding, right? You are the 1% that's feeding the 99. And that's just what a cool opportunity. Very few people can say that.
Hmm.
So thank you so much for your dedication to the dairy industry and all that you do to provide such a healthy, wholesome product that we get to enjoy, especially that delicious Cabot cheese and right and all of those goodies. And we just talked about the Ben and Jerry's ice cream and just all those good things. Thank you for your part in that and making sure our girls are well taken care of and getting that awesome product to us. Before we tune off today, is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, I think just I'm so excited to answer so many questions. And if you
Yeah.
continue to have questions, feel free to reach out to us or any farmer. I think if you can ask a farmer directly questions about farming, you're going to get your best answer.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. This was an amazing visit. Thank you. A huge, huge, huge thank you to Farmer Marissa for opening the barn doors and letting us get to meet Marigold and Sunflower up close. And of course, thank you all, our classrooms, our teachers, our students, for joining us today, asking such great questions, and bringing that excitement to the chat, and just really taking this one step further and wanting to learn about the dairy industry. We hope you had fun learning about the dairy farm and seeing how your calves grew at Laggis Farm. If you love this experience and want to go ahead and adventure again, as a reminder, you can do that. Mark your calendars. May 1st, registration will open up again. You can simply re-enroll or bring all your friends along too. Go to discoverdairy.com/adopt. We would love to have you all. From all of us at Discover Dairy and Laggis Farm, thank you for spending your afternoon with us. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Keep learning, keep exploring, and we hope to see you again soon.